welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am bringing you a series thoughts video on Dictatorial Grimoire by Ayumi Kanou. This is a 3-volume series that was published by 7 Seas. It was also released as an omnibus edition by them, but I read the 3 individual volumes because I borrowed them from my library. So those are going to be the ones that I show you today on screen. This one is rated older teen, and it's about a boy named Otogi Grimm. He is half Japanese descendant of the Grimm brothers who wrote the fairy tales we all grew up with. Upon the death of his mother, he receives a letter from his long absent father saying that he's made arrangements for him to start at a new school and move into a place, and Otogi has nowhere else to go, so he follows his father's instructions on the letter, goes into his new residence, which happens to be an abandoned mansion, and hears something calling to him. So he starts searching around the mansion to see what it is that's calling to him, and finds a grimoire. Upon finding the grimoire, he is immediately attacked by a demon. The demon says that he made a deal with Otogi's ancestors, the Grimm brothers, in exchange for his story that they had bargained away the lives of their descendants. So Otogi doesn't know what to do, and in comes Cinderella. But Cinderella is not the person you think based on the stories that we've heard. Cinderella is a man. And he teaches Otogi that the grimoire that he found has magical abilities that is only activated by a descendant of a Grimm, and that he is able to bind the demon to the book so that it would save his life, basically. So Otogi half binds this demon that was attacking him to the book, and finds out that there are more of these demons after him. So he's got a lot to learn in order to be able to protect himself from this deal that his ancestors made on his life. And so the story goes where we follow Otogi learning more about how to use this grimoire, encountering these demons that are after his life, and maybe some other unsavory characters. And I enjoyed this one. I do really like the art style. It was something that immediately caught my eye. Again, this is one series that my daughter had picked up and thought it would be something that I enjoyed. She did actually read this one as well, which was interesting because I was able to talk to her about it and compare our thoughts about what we read. I had mentioned that Cinderella in this storyline is male and not female, as we have heard about in the fairy tales that we grew up with. He is not the only one that has changed genders. You'll see as the covers go by that on the 3 volumes, Cinderella is on the first one, Snow White is on the second one, and Little Red Riding Hood is on the third, and they're all male. So that was an interesting twist that I enjoyed. Also, the backstories of the characters are slightly different, but I am not familiar with the source material, like the original fairy tales. I, like most people, only am familiar with the Disney version of these fairy tales. So it did really make me interested to find out what the original versions of these fairy tales are, and see if that's where these stories, the backstories of these characters had come from. I also really enjoyed watching Otogi make friends, not only with some of the students at his new school, but with some of the demons that he encounters as well. There's a sense of found family, I guess, because he really has no one when he moves to his new residence and school. And so the friends he makes and like Cinderella immediately becomes kind of like a guardian of his. And so that was a really nice aspect to this story. One of the things that I didn't like about this trilogy is that I feel like this story really had a lot of potential. It could have been several more volumes long. And even though at the end of the third volume there is an ending, for me, I still had questions about not only the deal that the ancestors made, but there's an aspect, and I think it was volume 2 that comes up about a like rival demon team that wants the grimoire for themselves. Also in the second volume, some things occurred that I don't understand why it was able to occur based on things that we learned in the first volume. So that was a little disappointing, and it was never explained, or at least I didn't get that it was explained why things that had occurred in the second volume were able to. So even though I was confused and I feel like this series had so much more potential but was cut short, I did enjoy what I read and will be interested in seeing what else this mangaka has to offer. I don't see that a lot of people have talked about this series, at least as far as MangaTube goes. I did see a few videos on it, but I hope more of you read this series and come back and tell me what you think of it, or at least let me know that you've read it so that we can like bounce ideas off of each other, because even my daughter, after she read it, had pretty much the same questions I did. She's a little bit more disappointed with the fact that the story was cut short as it was, and that the potential for the story was wasted. But it is what it is, and we do get an ending, even though it's not as solid as I would like. And so yeah, I do hope more of you read this series and let me know what you think of it. If you're planning on reading it, definitely let me know that as well. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you're all doing great. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.